Welcome to this Chromperfect training video. This video was produced using Chromperfect version 8 and Windows 11. Other versions of the software and operating system may be slightly different. Check your manual for information about your version of Chromperfect. This presentation is taken from the Chromperfect main manual, which is supplied with all modern Chromperfect systems in PDF format and is installed with the software. To view any of the manuals, please locate the following directory on your computer. Note that you will need a PDF reader installed on your computer to open the documents. This video is part of a wider chapter looking at specific Chromperfect features. The Analysis Program. The Analysis Program is the main workhorse within Chromperfect, and the site of most manual operations on existing chromatographic data. The user may perform the following actions. Open raw or bound files. Plot up to 16 chromatograms, each in a separate form or overlaid in a single form. Change to another method and calibration file. Add notes to the chromatogram plot. Adjust the plot scales and otherwise alter the appearance of plots. Adjust integration, timed events and quantification parameters. Adjust baselines manually. Save adjusted parameters in the current or another method or calibration file. Create bound files. Create printed plots and reports. Export reports in text files. Create graphic files for plots which can be used in other programs. This program is the only place within Chromperfect where the user can preview the chromatogram plot and report before printing them. Fix faulty integration and reprint and rebind. Set timed events and save them in a method file. Set component names and search window positions and widths and save them in a calibration file. Compare two or more chromatograms. Prepare and print overlay plots. Note: if your Chromperfect license supports size exclusion chromatography (SEC), then several SEC-related features within the analysis program will be active, otherwise, the corresponding menu items will be dimmed. These features are discussed elsewhere. As most users do not use SEC features, we will not cover them in this video, however we hope to produce more SEC-related content in future. To launch the analysis program, click on the main menu's Analysis button. The following form will appear. Opening and closing files. To open a raw file, using the menu, choose File then Open. Alternatively, you can click on the icon within the toolbar. A file inquiry dialog will appear. Enter the raw file name and press OK. The selected file will be opened, and the chromatogram plot will appear. This file inquiry dialog has two checkboxes. If the one captioned Close all open files is checked, then all other chromatogram plots and reports will be closed as the selected file is opened. If the one captioned Suppress chromatogram processing is checked, then the selected file will not be subjected to smoothing, baseline subtraction, or square rooting. If you invoke the file browser, the file type drop-down list will remember your last selection. You can show raw files, bound files, or both. Other third-party file types can also be selected here if your license allows. To open a bound file, proceed as described above for raw files, but supply the bound file name. You may need to change the file type to see the files you seek. Multiple file selections are supported for both raw and bound files. You may open multiple copies of the same file by simply repeatedly opening the file from the File Open dialog. It is more common, however, to open different files for comparison. To select contiguous files, meaning files that are listed in order, select the first file you wish to open. Now press and hold the Shift key on your keyboard while selecting the last file. Then click OK. To select non-contiguous files, meaning files which are not listed in order, select the first file you wish to open, and then press and hold the Control key on your keyboard and click on the other files you wish to open. Then click OK. To close a plot or report form, click the Close box of the form. If you have made significant changes since the last time the file was saved, you will be asked whether you wish to create a bound file to save these changes. To exit the analysis program, click the Close button, shown as an X, at the right end of the main form's caption, or choose the Exit item under the File menu. Again, if you have made changes since the last time the file was saved, you will be asked whether you wish to create a bound file to save these changes. Opening files from a list. The analysis program provides a way to select from a list of file names. These names can be loaded from a sequence file or from an XML list file. Sequence files are assumed to refer to bound, not raw file names. To load the file names, select the Tools menu, then Load File Names from Sequence File, or Load File Names from XML List. A file inquiry dialog will appear. Enter the file name and press OK. The selected file will be opened, and the Chooser form will appear. If any of the files in the list is missing or unreadable, it is displayed with an asterisk and a pink color. Such rows are unresponsive. Click on any other row to open the chromatogram. The selected file is indicated by a green color. If the checkbox captioned Open All Sibling Files is checked, then clicking on a file name will open the other channel as well. We use the term sibling files to refer to files that are part of the same multi-channel acquisition run. The usual way of opening files cannot identify siblings, but a sequence file, or XML list file, does have this information. By combining this feature with the Auto Tile and Auto Report features, one can quickly review all the chromatograms and reports, one run at a time. What happens when a file is opened? When a raw or bound file is opened, the chromatogram plot appears within a few seconds. However, several processes occur in this brief interval. When a raw file is opened, the method name is taken from the raw file header and the method file is opened. If the method file contains the name of a calibration file, then that file is also opened. The method and/or calibration file are obtained from their first occurrence in the search path, prescribed in the profile editor, from disk. Any problems in finding or opening these files will lead to error messages. Next, if the method file details smoothing or subtraction parameters, then these settings will be applied. Next, the chromatogram is integrated according to the integration parameters and timed events specified in the method file. If a calibration file is present, then the peaks are identified as components and the amounts are calculated. And of course, the chromatogram plot is drawn. When a bound file is opened, the name of the method file is present, but that file is not read because it may have changed since the bound file was created. Instead, the analysis program reads the snapshot of the method file that resides in the bound file. The same goes for the calibration file if there is one. If the method file calls for the chromatogram to be smoothed or subtracted, the chromatogram in the bound file already reflects these steps, so they need not be repeated. The integration information is also read from the bound file, so there is no need to integrate the chromatogram, identify peaks, or calculate amounts. The chromatogram plot is drawn immediately. Remember that method and calibration files are embedded in the bound file along with the area table that resulted from processing by them. Each contains a version number and date to distinguish themselves from other files on disk with the same name. To evaluate the chromatogram with other method or calibration files, the user must select each from the toolbar or file pull-down menu. When a raw or bound file is opened, the associated method file may specify a reference raw file name. If desired, this reference file can be opened automatically. To open the reference file, from the menu, choose Report, then Show Reference Plot, so that the checkmark appears. Working with method and calibration files. The method that was used to acquire a raw file may not be suitable for processing that raw file. In this and other situations, it is necessary to change from one method or calibration file to another. To change the method file, from the menu, choose File, then select Method. A file inquiry dialog will appear, displaying the current method file name. Enter the new method file name and press OK. The new method file will replace the original one in all respects. In particular, the calibration file will also change. Any previous manual integration actions will be lost. The chromatogram plot and report will change to reflect the new integration. To change the calibration file, from the menu, select File, then select Calibration. A file inquiry dialog will appear, displaying the current calibration file name. Enter the new calibration file name and press OK. The new calibration file will replace the original one. Any previous manual integration actions will be retained. The chromatogram plot and report will change to reflect the new components and amounts. Sometimes the integration parameters and timed events specified in the method file need adjustment, and the user desires to apply these adjustments not only to the current chromatogram, but also to other raw files, even those yet to be acquired. The same goes for the search window widths and positions specified in the calibration file. The analysis program provides a graphic user interface that allows such changes to be made interactively. Alternatively, such changes can be made by editing the method and calibration, either within the file editor or within the analysis program itself. To edit the method or calibration files, choose the appropriate menu item. A file editor dialog will appear, displaying the current settings. Edit this file as you would in the file editor. When you are finished, close the form. You will be asked whether you wish to apply your changes. If you answer yes, then the plots and reports will reflect the new settings. To apply the changes without closing the editing form, choose the appropriate Apply item, which appears in place of the Edit item on the drop-down menu. If you create a bound file, the bound method and calibration will reflect any applied changes. However, the original method and calibration files will not reflect these changes unless an explicit save operation is performed. To save the method file, from the File menu, select Save Method. A file inquiry dialog will appear, displaying the current method file name. To overwrite this method file, simply press OK. To create a new method file, enter another file name and press OK. If the file already exists, you will be asked to confirm the overwrite. The new method file will reflect not only the new integration parameters and timed events, but all changes that have been made. In particular, the plot size will reflect any changes made in the print chromatogram dialog, the plot scales will reflect the current plot, and the calibration file name will reflect any changes made since the method file was read. To save the calibration file, from the File menu, select Save Calibration. A file inquiry dialog will appear, displaying the current calibration file name. To overwrite this calibration file, simply press OK. To create a new calibration file, enter another file name and press OK. If the file already exists, you will be asked to confirm the overwrite. The new calibration file will reflect the new search window widths and positions, as well as any change to the area reject value made in the integration options dialog. Although the calibration file is changed, this is not a calibration update in the usual sense, because the calibration curves are not altered. Creating bound files. The analysis program reads raw files, but never alters them. Instead, bound files are created. Users often find the differences between raw and bound files confusing. We have a video which explores the differences in more detail. It can be found on our YouTube channel by searching bound files. I will also provide a link in the description below to this video. However, here is a quick introduction to bound files. Bound files contain within them a raw file, a method file, optionally a calibration file, and the integration data. The chromatogram in the raw file may be the original chromatogram, or it may be smoothed and/or subtracted. Each bound file contains snapshots of the method file or several files that may be named, including the calibration file, and one or more format files. Bound files constitute an archive for these files. Once a chromatogram has been bound, it no longer depends on the standalone method, calibration, and format files on disk, which are subject to changes. Furthermore, if the user alters the method or calibration settings before binding, then the bound file will reflect those changes. In this situation, the snapshots will not be exact copies of the standalone files, which are unchanged by such alterations. To create a bound file, from the File menu, choose Bind. A file inquiry dialog will appear. If this chromatogram was opened as a bound file, then the dialog will display the current bound file name. If this chromatogram was opened as a raw file, then the dialog will suggest a bound file name based on the raw file name. Enter another file name, if desired, and press OK. If the file already exists, you will be asked to confirm the overwrite. The plot and report forms do not close, so you may continue to work with the file. When creating a bound file, the File Inquiry dialog displays 3 checkboxes. The first two allow the user to create, or update, the corresponding ASCII area file, or the CDF, AIA, file. The names of these files follow that of the bound file. No overwrite warnings or datalog entries are made for these ancillary files. The third checkbox allows the user to submit a batch processing job for the new bound file. This saves the trouble of fiddling with the batch utility. To export a chromatogram as a bitmap, from the Plot menu, choose Make PNG file. A file inquiry dialog will appear, suggesting a PNG file name based on the raw or bound file name. Enter another file name, if desired, and press OK. The size of the bitmap is determined by the report settings in the method file, given in inches, and the resolution of the monitor screen, usually 96 or 120 pixels per inch. The size and the shape, aspect ratio, reflect the size of the plot in reports rather than the size of the plot on the screen, so the rendition is not exact. For best results, adjust your screen plot so that it is the same size and shape. The plot scales do reflect the plot as displayed on the screen, so it is easy to make bitmaps of expansions. Overlay plots are not exported. If you export an overlay plot, the bitmap will contain only the active chromatogram. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more YouTube chromatography content and training videos. By also hitting the bell icon, you will be notified when we upload new videos. You might also want to follow Chromperfect on our social media platforms using the hashtag Chromperfect. If you would like to receive more information or a demonstration of our software, please contact our sales team by visiting www.chromatographic.com or call 973-586-8551.